You've heard it. You've definitely heard it. It's that sound that has burrowed its way into the collective consciousness of the internet, a soundbite that's both slightly absurd and impossibly catchy.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
It's become a meme. This weirdly iconic piece of audio that seems to have taken over the entire internet. And here's what makes the whole thing so interesting. While that soundbite has been racking up views, the company behind it, Jet2, has been quietly racking up wins. Big ones. They've been staging one of the most impressive business climbs in the UK, defying expectations to outsmart rivals and build a rock-solid empire right under our noses. The meme is what got our attention, but the real story is how Britain's most underrated airline perfected the art of the Great British Package holiday. Jet2's origin story is surprisingly unglamorous. Long before the company flew sun-seeking tourists to the coasts of Spain, its first incarnation in the 1980s was a freight charter airline named Channel Express. Owned by its parent company, Dart Group plc, its mission was built entirely on moving cargo. Their planes were filled with practical goods like Royal Mail packages, UPS deliveries, and even fresh produce. While other airlines were selling the dream of luxury travel, Channel Express was handling the essential nuts and bolts logistics that kept commerce moving. Then, in the early 2000s, the aviation landscape was shifting. The budget airline revolution, led by titans like EasyJet and Ryanair, was in full swing. The idea that flying could be affordable for absolutely everyone was no longer a fantasy. Seeing an opportunity, the Dart Group decided to dip its toe into the world of passenger travel. In 2003, they launched Jet2.com from a single base at Leeds Bradford Airport. Their ambitions seemed almost comically small. They had just one route, Leeds to Amsterdam. No one would have predicted they would become a major player. They were, by all accounts, the airline that wasn't supposed to win. But fast forward 2 decades, and the story has completely changed. That tiny operation out of Leeds has exploded into an industry powerhouse. Today, Jet2 is the United Kingdom's 3rd largest airline when measured by passenger volume, flying millions of people every year. And its package holiday arm Jet2Holidays has hordes of customers taking to the skies with them each year. In fact, it's become the single largest tour operator in the entire country. Perhaps most impressively, it's one of the very few travel brands that navigated the catastrophic storm of the pandemic and emerged in a stronger financial position than when it went in. They achieved all this without the flashy branding of British Airways, the celebrity endorsements, or the exclusive airport lounges. Instead, they built their entire empire on a foundation of something far more boring, but infinitely more effective: value, reliability, and trust. The defining moment in Jet2's rise arrived in 2007 with the launch of Jet2Holidays. This was the masterstroke that transformed the company into a true travel powerhouse. They brilliantly executed the package holiday model by bundling flights, hotels, baggage, and transfers into a single, seamless product. This is something which had been on offer for years prior via companies like Thomas Cook, but Jet2Holidays would be the one to perfect the formula. Today, over 60% of all passengers flying with Jet2 choose to book a full package holiday. This integrated approach enables the company to capture revenue at every stage of the trip. This powerful strategy culminated in 2023 when Jet2Holidays officially overtook the legacy travel giant TUI to become the UK's #1 tour operator, completely redefining the industry's competitive landscape. If a Brit wants to go off and get sunburnt to a crisp on the Costa del Sol, odds are they're going with Jet2. So, what's the secret sauce behind Jet2's incredible success? The answer is refreshingly simple. They built their entire company on a rock-solid business strategy focused on getting the basics right. At the heart of their playbook is a genuinely customer-first approach. While countless companies use that phrase as a hollow slogan, Jet2 turned it into their operational blueprint. Their sky-high customer satisfaction ratings come from one powerful source: pure, old-fashioned reliability. The flights take off on time, the staff greet you with a smile, and the price you see is the price you pay. While competitors like Ryanair and Wizz Air became infamous for their labyrinthine fee structures, where the initial low-fare balloons with charges for bags, seats, and even printing a boarding pass, Jet2 went the other way. They embraced transparent pricing. On their package holidays, a generous 22-kilogram baggage allowance and airport transfers are typically included. There's a sense of honesty in their model, and this built an incredible amount of trust. You also have to look at their genius airport strategy. They saw the intense dogfight for slots at Heathrow and Gatwick and decided to play a different game entirely. They poured their resources into the UK's regional airports, establishing major hubs in Manchester, Leeds, Newcastle, and Birmingham. This move instantly connected them with a massive and loyal customer base who were tired of the long trek to London. For millions of people, Jet2 became their local airline, creating a powerful bond that established national carriers couldn't match. That bond was solidified during the pandemic. When travel stopped, stories of customers battling airlines for refunds were everywhere. Jet2 stood out by processing their refunds quickly and fairly. So, what does a company do with all that success? Their future plans are being supercharged by a massive shopping spree for almost 150 brand new state-of-the-art Airbus A321neos. You're about to start seeing even more Jet2 branded planes across the whole of the UK. This firepower in the air is matched by aggressive expansion on the ground. As their route map explodes to over 70 sun-soaked destinations in places like Greece and Turkey, they're also launching brand new airport bases, like the one in Liverpool. Simultaneously, they're pouring more investment into their existing strongholds in Bristol and Birmingham, tightening their grip on the UK's regional market. It's a clear signal that Jet2 is using its momentum not just to compete, but to dominate. The core of the business, Jet2Holidays, remains the engine of growth. They're constantly looking for the next big destination, and there are even whispers of potential growth into non-European markets as they look for new places to send their ever-growing customer base. And this brings us back to that ridiculous chirpy voice. Here is the beautiful irony of the entire Jet2 story. A company can spend 2 decades meticulously building a solid, trusted, and profitable business. And then, one day, the internet discovers a daft soundbite from one of their television ads, and that is what makes them a household name for a new generation. The "nothing beats a Jet2Holidays" catchphrase, with Jess Glynn singing in the background, has been a staple part of their advertising for years. But then in the strange alchemy of the internet, Gen Z suddenly latched onto it, turning it into viral gold. The internet has a funny way of working. It took a perfectly normal ad and, through layers of irony and humor, made it an unlikely cultural phenomenon. It all started with the soundbite ironically layered over videos of holiday nightmares. Rainstorms blowing away beach umbrellas, crowds of sunburnt holidaygoers trampling over each other to claim a sunbed by the pool. London lads brawling on the streets of Magaluf. Then as the trend caught fire on TikTok, it expanded to videos on literally anything. Now you can barely scroll for 30 seconds without hearing that familiar, unnaturally cheery voice. The most telling part of the story is how Jet2 handled it all. They reacted with a quiet confidence that's rare for a big company, giving a subtle nod to the meme before simply letting it run its course. In the end, Jet2 represents something increasingly rare in the modern economy. It's a testament to what can be achieved when a company focuses on the fundamentals, providing a solid service, offering clear and honest pricing, and actually delivering on what it promises. This approach has allowed them to build a brand that stands apart from the historic polish of British Airways or the massive scale of Ryanair. They've earned something that might be even more valuable in today's market: genuine customer trust. The meme might fade away. The jingle will eventually be replaced by the next viral soundbite. But the airline and package holiday operator, the business that was built on a foundation of reliability, is here to stay. Because behind that meme is a company that knows exactly what it is, exactly who it's serving, and exactly how to win. But what do you reckon? Do you agree that nothing beats a Jet2Holiday? Or is the great British package holiday not your cup of tea? And on a personal note, what's the most important thing for you when booking a holiday? Drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below. And if you liked this video, give us a thumbs up, click subscribe, and ring that bell to stay updated. Cheers for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.